As a hairstylist, what would you do if you were braiding a client's hair and suddenly found a human eye hidden in the middle of it? Sit down, grab your popcorn, let me tell you an interesting story. Please subscribe to my channel because you may never see me again. The day she arrived in Nako village, she wore a bright yellow wig, high heels that clicked like gunshots on the dusty red soil, and the biggest smile her face could carry. Her name was Angela, and her life had been a string of heartbreaks and disappointments. Lagos had drained her both emotionally and financially, but now she was determined to start afresh. The moment she stepped into the community, a strange calmness washed over her. Deep inside, she felt she had found the perfect place to rebuild her life. I must make it in this place. I'll hustle like never before until I succeed, she whispered to herself as she dragged her heavy box into the one-room apartment she rented. After observing the community for months, Angela realized there was no salon around. Most women either kept low cuts, braided their natural hair themselves, or wore plastic wigs that looked like they had been baked in a microwave. Driven by curiosity, she decided to ask her neighbor, Auntie Reese, about it. "Good morning, Auntie. Sorry, I just wanted to ask, why don't people braid hair around here? No salons at all." Auntie Reese gave her a long, almost pitying look. "There are no stylists here, my dear. We just manage." Before Angela could press further, the woman raised her hand and walked off, clearly not interested in continuing the conversation. Angela was confused. The community had tall duplexes and flashy cars, yet no salon? She concluded that maybe there just weren't skilled stylists around. That same evening, she made a decision. She would open a salon in Nako village and cash out since there was no competition. Angela was a talented stylist. She had abandoned the craft after nearly losing her life in an abusive relationship with a wealthy man. "I'll turn this place into the beauty capital of Ogun State," she vowed. That vow marked the beginning of her troubles. 2 weeks later, she opened her shop right in the heart of the community. She named it Angela's Touch. It wasn't fancy, but it was clean and cozy. The community didn't admire Angela. They feared for her. On the day she opened her salon, a small crowd gathered outside, watching with anxious eyes, but none dared enter. "Who is this woman who doesn't love her life?" one woman muttered. "I think we should warn her," another whispered, but no one said a word to Angela. By the end of the first week, no one had come to her shop. "These people who carry dry sponge wigs and tangled hair don't want a better look," she lamented. "What kind of place is this?" Since nobody was walking in, Angela decided to make braided wigs and sell them instead. That day, she brought out her tools and sat outside. But when she opened a box of colorful attachments, all hell broke loose. Children who had been playing nearby screamed and ran like they had seen a ghost. One little boy even fell and crawled away backwards, shouting, "She's brought it out! It started again!" Angela stood frozen, pink attachment and comb in hand. "Just attachments, surely. What kind of juju are they seeing?" she muttered. The next day, she tried again. Ring light on, soft music playing, shop door wide open. Still, people passed like the shop didn't exist. One lady even removed her heels and ran past the shop. It was on the third day that Mama Ruth, the oldest woman in the community, stepped into the salon. Her eyes scanned the space like she was looking for trouble. "Good afternoon, Mama. Do you want to make your hair?" Angela asked with a forced smile. Mama Ruth sat down, removed her scarf, revealing thick, gray hair. "Number, I just came to warn you," she said. "Warn me? About what?" Angela asked, confused. Mama Ruth leaned in and whispered, "Stylists don't last in this town. Years ago, there was one, very skilled. Customers came from all over. But one day, a strange woman entered her shop. She braided her hair and vanished. Every stylist who came after disappeared too." Angela chuckled nervously, though goosebumps crawled up her arms. "Please, Mama, all these old wives' tales don't move me." Mama Ruth looked at her sternly. "Believe or not, the eye is watching." Angela ignored the warning and continued promoting her business. 3 months later, things changed. A fashionable lady visiting from Lagos passed by the shop. saw a blonde wig on display, entered, and bought it. It was a perfect fit. From that day, the tide turned. Angela's touch became the hottest spot. Women from the community and neighboring areas trooped in. In weeks, she moved into a better space, got a 3-bedroom flat, and even bought a Toyota Camry. Angela was living her dream, unaware something was watching, waiting. One fateful afternoon, a very tall woman entered her salon. She wore a flowing black gown, her long, natural hair cascading like a waterfall. Dark sunglasses hid her eyes. Her voice was soft, almost sleepy. "I want to braid this star style," she said, showing a photo on her phone. "Make it tight, like the others." "No problem, madam. You'll love it," Angela replied. She began braiding. The woman's hair was thick and untouched. Angela applied more gel to soften it. Then the woman flinched. "Ah, easy. You're touching my eyes." Angela froze. "You're what? Can't you see? You're touching my eyes. Be careful." Angela's hand trembled. She parted the hair again and saw it. A human eye, embedded in the scalp. Real. Watching. She stumbled back, heart racing. "Something wrong?" the woman asked calmly. No. I just need more edge control," Angela lied. She turned to the shelf. When she turned back, the chair was empty. The woman was gone. The room, once buzzing, was silent. No music, no breeze, no light. The ring light flickered and went off. Darkness. "Jenny, are you there?" She called out one of her staff, but no response. Then came the voice. It echoed from the walls. "You have touched what you shouldn't have. Now you must face 7 tests, or perish." Angela screamed, running to the door. She flung it open, only to meet complete darkness outside. No road, no sky. "Please, I'll close the shop. Just let me go," she cried. "You were warned," the voice boomed. "No stylist has ever passed the test. Let's see if you will." And the ground opened beneath Angela. The tests had begun. Angela landed on her knees in a dark salon that looked like her own, but older, dusty, and filled with broken mirrors. In the center was a head, just a head with no body. It had one giant, tangled ball of knots. Then the voice spoke to her in harsh tones. "Detangle it gently. If it feels pain, it will scream. When it is satisfied, it will let you know." Angela felt relieved at first because she was used to detangling even the most complicated hairs. She took a deep breath and picked up a white tooth comb. "You can do this. You've done worse hairs than this," she assured herself. She started slowly, but the hair was fighting, snapping the comb, wrapping itself around her fingers like it was alive. Then she heard it. "Ah!" The scalp screamed. Angela jumped back. "Jesus, this is not ordinary hair. God, please help me. I'm only a young woman looking for a means to survive." She touched the hair again and apologized to it. "Please don't be offended. I'm sorry." Then she started separating each knot with her hands, humming gently to ease her fear. After a while, the head smiled at her. Then the voice came back again. "Your first trial has been completed." Angela barely had time to exhale before the room spun and threw her into the next nightmare. This time, she appeared in front of a salon sink with another head in it. The instructions were clear. Wash the hair. If you feel disgusted or throw up, then you have failed the test. You must not throw up or spit. Angela rolled up her sleeves. She was more than ready this time. She said a silent prayer and swung into action. With trembling hands, she turned on the tap, and to her greatest surprise, thick blood gushed out. She wanted to scream, but held herself back. She held the head firmly and started washing it, but the odor that came out of it almost sent her to her early grave. She swallowed her saliva several times, trying to hold herself from throwing up. Seeing that Angela was almost passing a second test, the spirit intensified the odor. Angela dropped the head forcefully and sat on the ground. Lord, please help me. I can't do this. You have 2 minutes left, the voice said. Angela got up quickly, this time with more determination. She washed the hair, combed it thoroughly while holding her breath. She was almost throwing up when she found a tooth tangled in the hair, but she held herself. After a while, the voice returned again. You have completed your second test. Angela sat on the ground, breathing heavily. But she didn't even have enough time to rest before the room spun and threw her into the next nightmare. This time, a demon with pink nails and lashes longer than broomsticks sat in front of her. Then, the voice came again. You must relax her hair and make her beautiful, but you must never communicate with her. Once you speak to her, you have failed the test. Angela was relieved once again. She thought it was something easy until the demon started ranting. I beg no bio, it snapped, crossing its legs and chewing imaginary gum. I have a date after this, the demon said. Angela wanted to reply but remembered the warning. So demons do have dates, she thought to herself. Angela mixed the relaxer carefully, but the smell that came out of it was strong enough to kill flies. It was very different from the relaxers she had used on her customers. The demon kept turning its head, gossiping about other demons in hell. She thinks she's fine because she has horns? Me, I'm very natural, it said, trying to get Angela to reply. But Angela ignored her and concentrated on what she was doing. The demon was desperate to get Angela to talk. It screamed, yawned, twerked, and even shouted at her. You think you're a good braider? What is your name? Oh, you don't want to answer me, No problem. We shall see how this ends. But Angela ignored the demon and continued. After hours of ranting, the demon finally gave up. Then the voice returned again. Test 3 completed. For the next test, Angela found herself sitting under a giant old-school hairdryer. Then the voice came back again. You must not shed tears no matter what. Once you shed tears, you have failed the test. The dryer turned on by itself with a loud boom sound. Hot air gushed around her head like a mini hurricane. At first, she thought it was just heat. Then the visions started. She saw herself back in Lagos, sitting on the stoop, crying quietly in a corner after her boyfriend of 5 years broke up with her on their wedding day. Then she remembered how she was assaulted by her stepfather at a very young age and got pregnant for him. She remembered the pain of removing the unwanted pregnancy. Angela let out a loud scream. No! Take this memory away from me! Stop bringing it back! She tried to disconnect herself, but the painful memories kept coming. She remembered how she started sleeping around at a young age just to take care of herself. Then the most painful memory flashed through. How she lost her mother and father in a fatal accident. That was the day her life turned upside down. The girl who once lived in a mansion now begged on the streets. Tears were almost dropping from her eyes, but she held herself strong. After all the painful memories had been displayed, the dryer turned off and she fell on the ground, sobbing uncontrollably. Then the voice came back again. You have passed the 4th test. Angela sat on the ground exhausted. She was already weak and on the verge of giving up, but she remained hopeful. If I can pass the 4th test, then the 5th one won't be a problem for me, she assured herself. Then comes another test, the hair of hunger. Suddenly, she was in a salon again, but the chairs were filled with headless clients. Wigs floated over each head, whispering her name. Angela, feed us. What is this madness? She gasped. The ring light flickered to life, and in front of her stood a hungry girl, skin clinging to bone. She was bald. Her eyes were white. You took what was mine? The girl said. Angela looked down. In her hands, unwillingly, was a braided wig made of real human hair, dripping with blood. "No, I only use attachments," she shouted. "You used what belongs to the dead. Now feed me?" Angela was shaking. Her hands moved on their own, trying to put the wig on the head. "No, I reject this," she screamed, flinging the wig into a corner. It burst into flames. The salon vanished. She had passed again. Then comes another test. The customer who never leaves. She was back in her own salon again. At first, everything looked normal. A woman entered. No face, just a smooth, blank oval where eyes, nose, and mouth should be. "I want Ghana weaving with curls," voice echoed in Angela's mind, like as if they were communicating mind to mind. Angela couldn't move. "You said you never leave customers unsatisfied," the voice echoed in her mind again. Angela's fingers began to move on their own, braiding, curling, twisting. The woman's faceless head tilted with each plait. When she was done, the woman stood up. "Nice work," she said through their mind-to-mind communication, and peeled the hair off her head, strand by strand. Underneath was Angela's own face. Angela screamed, stepping back. The woman started laughing. Angela could hear her through her mind. "You're doing well." And she vanished. Another test again. The eye must be closed. This time, Angela has lost the count of how many tests she have gone through. She was back in total darkness. Then she saw it, the giant floating eye, red and glowing, spinning slowly in midair like a cursed moon. "This is the eye of envy," the voice explained. "It watches every woman who wants to shine, every dreamer, every stylist. It feeds on their light. You touched it. Now, you must close it." "How?" Angela asked, her voice barely a whisper. "With truth." The eye blinked once. Suddenly, all her clients appeared. All the women she had served, all watching silently. Some had no mouths, others wept black tears. Angela stepped forward. "I am not perfect. I came here to escape pain, but I carried pride into a place I didn't understand. I used my gift selfishly, but I now see hair is not just beauty. It is memory, spirit, identity, and I will never take it for granted again." The eye narrowed, began to shrink. She shouted louder. "I will honor it through my handwork. I will braid with purpose. I will not let fear own me." With a thunderous sound, the eye exploded into light. After a while, she heard a clap from the shadows, and the woman stepped out from the shadows, still wearing that long black dress. Her hair flowed like a river, and inside it, that eye was still staring. "Congratulations, Angela," she said. "Now the real test will begin. You either die or leave." Before Angela could respond, an invisible hand gripped her throat, choking her to death. Then the woman gave a wicked laugh. "No one comes here and goes back alive. You have touched my eyes, and you must pay the price, and the price is death. You must die." Angela struggled with the invisible hand, trying to overpower it. Her strength was nothing compared to the evil forces. She was at the point of giving up when she heard her mother's voice. "You are the last descendant of Ezi Arku bloodline. Use it. Use your blood to defeat her." Angela quickly used a sharp object beside her to pierce her fingers. Then she cut out a huge part of her hair and braided it with her blood. As she braided it, the evil spirit let out a loud scream and disappeared into thin air, leaving Angela alone. Immediately, Angela realized that the spirit had disappeared. She became afraid. Angela quickly rushed toward the woman, grabbed her with all her strength, and used the sharp object to pierce the middle of her head. Immediately, blood gushed out of the woman's eyes, and she disappeared into thin air. Angela dropped to her knees, tired and exhausted. She wasn't sure if she had defeated the woman. She sat on the ground, breathing heavily. Angela woke up on the floor of her salon, trembling and drenched in sweat. Outside, it was morning. People stood around her, whispering, crossing themselves. Mama Ruth stepped inside. "You passed." Angela looked at her, wide-eyed. "You knew?" Mama Ruth nodded and disappeared.